For some time, I worked in a prison, doing community work and psychology with the inmates. Every day I held sessions and talks with them, trying to help them endure the confinement and to receive therapy so they could reintegrate into society. However, there was one inmate who changed the way I saw and felt everything that was going on in the minds of those poor souls. During that period, the prison population grew at an exponential rate, and there were prisoners who belonged to different criminal factions. This inmate, whom I'll call Martin, was a young man who was extremely strange and lacked any emotion. He belonged to a drug cartel, and he had been lured into captivity during a firefight, in which several of his companions were killed by the army. Over time, through our conversations, I earned his trust, and he began to tell me a terrible story about his level in the organization and what he did. He was a hitman and a butcher. His mission was to kill and dismember their rivals, intending to send a message of power and reach. His character was reserved, and he seemed alert all the time. In one session, he told me that some demons wouldn't leave him alone. They tormented him with terrible nightmares at night. In his dreams, he saw himself sunk in a huge lake, where the waters were made of blood and excrement. Violent demons assaulted the thousands of souls that were there. Sometimes he could see those demons between the shadows. He felt their presence so close it was unbearable. He described himself as a very bad man, capable of causing and inflicting pain and fear. He had no feelings and no mercy. One day, he and his companions took a rival and brought him to a ranch. Somewhere they got rid of the people they captured and the enemies they made. The man they had in captivity was peculiar. He showed no fear at any moment. He didn't beg, and he didn't do what they wanted. He was calm, and he smiled in a sinister, defiant way. They tortured him, and he never stopped smiling. But the horror of the killing was surpassed by something stranger. When they started dismembering him, Martin used an axe and mutilated his limbs. When they finally decapitated him, both Martin and the other hitmen were terrified, because the man began to cackle, his laughter coming from the headless, cut-apart body. Even his torso seemed to be pulling in air to keep producing that laughter, like the body itself refused to stop. With fear and desperation, they began to hack at the torso, trying to end him, and it was difficult to make him stop. Finally, between flesh and organs, the laughter disappeared. That event changed Martin forever. His companions were massacred by their rivals or by the police. He survived, but everything in him had changed. He felt scared, and he expected death every day. Every night, he saw the devil. I can't describe what I felt when this man told me that story. I imagined every detail, every moment he described, as if I were living it. Somehow the fear followed me for a long time. It kept hunting me, waking me up at night in panic, terrified of the unknown and the shadows around me. Shadows I imagined came alive just to chase me. And the worst part was this: when I was alone, I could hear a laugh close to me. Eventually, I quit that job, because every case you hear there is a horrible story, and it can affect you more than you'd ever expect.